Michael, let's go.
Yeah, we coolin', yeah, we coolin'. We dancing right to the music. If you got it, girl, you move it, ayy. Yeah, we coolin', yeah, we coolin'. We dabbing and yeah, we groovin'. Pretty bitties dropping, do it, ayy. Yeah, we coolin', yeah, we coolin'. We dancing right to the music. If you got it, girl, you move it, ayy.
All right, big uncle supporter, uncle's hockey team, all-star stud. Got the fresh sleeve. I know that's why you got that arm in front of the other one. Still peeling a little bit, but big, good old buddy of mine, Josh Wilkins from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'll let you introduce yourself. I don't have that good of an intro for you. Well, I'd pump your tires too much to think we have a little bromance going on. So
yeah, I'm Josh Wilkins, as you said. Grew up in Raleigh. Been a longtime friend of Fitzy and a big group of roller hockey beauties that got back together this summer. It's been kind of a crazy ride to get to where I'm at, but a lot of fun journeys along the way. So that's my story.
yeah. So where'd you go right after? So being from Raleigh, you don't really get too many looks down there, if any at all. So you had to travel pretty early.
Yeah. Well, I started out with the Junior Hurricanes as you're an alum too, so shout out to all the Junior Hurricane alums. I started out there, and then they kind of faded away. Like I started to kind of stop playing and go to prep schools and stuff. And so actually, my dad took a job in California, and I went and tried out for the LA Junior Kings, and ended up making that team for the year, which is pretty neat. Kind of a change of scenery, but it's kind of a good first start for me. I kind of got a taste of what the rest of the country has for hockey talent. Obviously, a lot of good hockey players out there, but that was a good start. Good first year away from Carolina. And then from there, I went to TPH Thunder, based out of Atlanta. I think they're in Nashville now. I think they switched to the Junior Predators. I went and played there. Team captain, not a big deal. I did pretty well there and ended up getting drafted to the USHL, United States Hockey League. For those of you that don't know, it's kind of like I guess you would say like a top like prep school for like basketball guys, like John Wall going to Word of God. It's kind of similar to that. So I went try out for the team, got cut. Adversity. Welcome to hockey, and got cut from there. I went and played in the North American Hockey League. It's where you build your character. If anyone's ever played in that league, they know. And then eventually that was in Austin, Minnesota. So a lot of people thought it was Austin, Texas, which I don't blame them. But played a year there, did decent, and then ended up making the USHL the following year, and then got a commitment to Providence College. Wow, this is a long journey. I don't know how to think about talking about it.
Yeah.
And then got a commitment from Providence College. Never thought I'd get in. GPA was a little low, too many water bottles going through my system. And ended up getting in, and the rest is history, kind of.
There you go. Well, taking through it, that's normal for most kids that have to make. Even if you're from up north, you still have to go to prep school or bounce around. No one really makes it just playing high school hockey. You got to go do the tour to all of the NAL. Most guys play NAL, obviously. That's like where you get gritty. Learn your wits about you a little bit.
Yeah, that's where you learn to grind, that league.
But like you said, so you actually have to have billet families, and so basically you live with another family. So going through high school, you went to 5 high schools in 4 years, something like that?
Yeah, 5 high schools, 4 years.
Love to hear it. But going in, I guess we're going to go chronologically. So you were still kind of a young buck out in LA. I think we actually hung out, watched the Kings win the cup in your house right before you left that summer.
Yeah, I think we did actually. That was right. It seems like 20 years ago, but yeah,
it feels like it. Yeah, if you ask my knees, that was 20 years ago. But going right up into the NAL, which was Austin Bruins, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Remember, just to kick off a funny story to get the crowd into it, the dip story.
Oh, this is actually a great story. So obviously when you're younger, you're trying things out. But my roommate can attest to this, Jake Kiley, Vancouver Canucks signee, not a big deal. Pretty good player, pretty good goaltender. Kind of a weird dude though, goalies.
Goalie, yeah, they got their own thing going on.
But no, actually a great guy. But he he was doing a little bit of the grizzly pouches. You know, everyone kind of gets into it back then, and they didn't have the Cybos and the Zeners. That's futuristic stuff now. But he's like, yeah, he's like, Wilkes, try put a dip in. I was like, nah, man, like I'll put 2 in. Like these things are nothing. So I tossed 2 of them in. I'm sitting there for like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm like, well, like getting kind of dizzy. Like maybe I thought something was wrong with me. And then about 5 minutes into it, I'm going to spit them out, and like I'm spinning, and I'm like, what is happening to me? I'm gonna die. And I spit them out, and long story short, the feeling kind of never went away. I felt like I was doing backflips in my room when I was laying on my bed. And I missed 3 or 4 days of school and practice because my system was just so messed up. I think I'm just allergic to tobacco or nicotine. I don't know. And yeah, that was a tough way to start my chewing career, but it's ended now. No more dip.
No more dip. Good. Hey, your body's a temple now. You're in the show.
Here and there. I won't lie to you.
Sure, you've met some characters throughout the ranks. Anybody that sticks out from the NOL USHL you've kept up with to this day? Because usually, like we're good friends. I would say from hockey more than high school. But
yeah,
anybody you kept up with from those days?
There's actually a walking legend, Brian Backnack. If you ever hear that name, watch out. This guy's a menace. He literally, the best story I have of him, he's probably the coolest, like best guy you'll ever know, like from sports and just in life. He went to Adrian D3. I think he won a ship, maybe. I don't know. Have to look that up. But he when I was in the NOL, it's kind of my first time playing like real juniors. Was a little scared out there, and this guy, like third game in, bodies a guy from behind, fights, and then goes to like the other side of the rink where the goalie is and starts barking at the goalie. And I was like, well, I'm in a different environment now. I gotta toughen up. This guy's nuts. But he's just a great dude, man. Like he texts me all the time, like always asks how I'm doing. Keep up with each other. That's kind of a cool thing about sports in general. You just meet a lot of different people, but he's one guy that sticks out to me. That guy is nuts, man.
So, all right, we'll go into more of the current Providence day. So you got picked up, signed with Providence year after they won the Natty Ship. So that's a good program to be in.
Yeah.
Saw recently the assistant coach, the woman on the World Juniors team, first ever assistant coach and woman in that position to win a championship, let alone be a coach. Did you ever have any relationships with her? Or, like, were you guys pretty close at Providence?
Yeah, she actually, she's like, dude, she's honestly one of the best in the business. Like, great hockey mind. Her dad is, I don't know if he's hockey ops for Calgary Flames or part of the GM organization, but I don't know his role. But really smart family, hockey family. She's great. Kind of worked her way in, did video, and over time, like her and Nate Lehman work really well together. She has a lot of good insights. Everything helps. Like the guys at Providence are so lucky. Like that coaching staff that we had was like, I think 3 of the coaches that just won the World Jays was on our coaching staff. You had Chris Mayotte was one of my assistant coaches, Nate, and then Steve Miller was a coach at Providence when they won. So there's actually 4 of them. So it just goes to show what kind of hockey minds you have at Providence College. But Teresa's great. Helped the boys out a lot if we ever need anything. She's just a great person. So good for her.
Awesome. And then I think we've talked about this in the past. Obviously, coaches have a lot more influence in hockey than I would say any other sport to, like, I guess, give them some credit. I believe it was in the USHL where you had the coach that would take the extra time to help you with, like, say, like, obviously hockey's a huge commitment as is, but you also have to make sure you're doing well in class, getting the grades you need to, obviously, like you said, get into schools, Providence. And the name escapes me, but we've talked about this in the past about that one coach that kind of took that extra effort to make sure you were a successful student along with being an excellent hockey player.
Yeah. It was Chris Talk was my coach in Austin Bruins, my first year junior. First year, like I said, first year in that environment. After practice, like he would keep guys out and do like extra stuff, and he would pull me aside and be like, "Hey, Wilkes, like go back to the high school." Like we were in a high school like right down from the rink. So he's like, "Hey, Wilkes, just go back to school." It was Austin High School. and go spend extra time with your teachers and go work on like some of your school and stuff. But yeah, I spent countless hours going back to. I had this one teacher who was I had his name O'Connor. Matt O'Connor was the teacher, and it's for math. Man, I was terrible at math. It was like the algebra phase, or the geometry, and it's like
it's tough for everybody.
It's so tough for everyone. But no, really good dude. He always put school first. Always made sure I was going back and doing the extra stuff. But that teacher, that guy deserves a lot of credit. Hopefully, if I make some sheets one day, I can find that guy and maybe buy him a nice gift card somewhere or something. But yeah, those people are awesome. And that was the first guy that really was like, hey, go take your time with school. Like, you'll be all right with hockey. Like, figure out your schooling because you won't be able to get anywhere without the school part. So
yeah.
It's good
and
stuff.
then when you got to Providence, we obviously could talk about your hockey accolades as long as the day is long. So you went from the NAL, then USHL, and then you also made the U.S. player development team. How was that experience playing with some of those guys that are obviously big leaguers now? Like, who was on that team with you?
John Marino just signed for like $26 million, something not a big deal. It's good. He's a good dude. He's one of our D. There's a lot of guys in there that sign NHL contracts. I think they're all still on their entry levels. But he's the only one I think just re-signed for a big ticket.
That's awesome.
Good dude, man. Good person. Beauty.
Yeah, and then you played in the Canada Cup.
Yeah, I played for USA at the World Junior A Challenge. Kind of like the top prospects out of the USHL, which going into the USHL, I kind of was like a nobody. So making that team was kind of sick. I was pretty shocked actually, because like at the moment I wasn't up there on points, but I was just I was just known as a solid player. And I made the fourth line in that team, and I actually did pretty well in that tournament. A couple shorthanded goals, not a big deal.
Does it all?
Made out pretty well, but no, that was cool, man. Anytime you wear the USA sweater, it's like, well, you know what I mean? I was kind of like, I'm from Carolina. Like, I always thought it was pretty good, but like never thought I'd be like in a spot to like with like all the top guys from the US.
Yeah.
So it was pretty neat, man. Not gonna lie to you. Playing against Canada and Russia and all those teams, pretty neat.
Yeah, it's competing on the international level. I can't even imagine just the pride it is to, like you said, wear USA on your sweater and just compete.
Compete, move your feet.
But so that was right before maybe your first year at Providence, going through playing in the USHL. How old were you at that point? Like 18, 19?
Yeah, I just turned 9. I was just turning 9. No, I was 18. I was 18 playing in that league.
Awesome. So for the people that don't follow hockey closely, most people when they get to college, at least when you're in a hockey sphere, you're usually getting to college when you're around 20, which is probably 2 years later than the average student.
Yeah.
So how is the transition in being from obviously a USHL athlete, which is still a student athlete, going to Providence? How is that balance doing both school and hockey?
I mean, the USHL, I think the USHL is a little easier. Some guys went to high school. I did online just because I was more familiar with it from my days in LA with all the travel and stuff. But no, like honestly, once you get into school and like are there and clear the clearinghouse, everyone that is a college athlete knows that's a pain trying to get through all that. But once you're in, most schools, D1 schools, D2 schools, they'll help you out with academics. Like they're going to make sure you're on top of it. And make sure you're doing the right things. But no, yeah, like Providence is good to me in that regard. But yeah, I mean, once you get in there, like you're pretty much set. Like they'll help you no matter what.
And we opened up crediting those coaches and also professors at that point. So you flourished in Providence. I feel like that's where you kind of got your legs under you and got noticed by these bigger NHL, AHL teams. Ended up getting signed as a free agent. Shout out Lobby.
Thanks, brother.
One of the boys. We'll plug Pete in a minute. But so how was now here's my tire pump for you. I told you I was gonna pump your tires too much, but only first liner in Hockey East that wasn't drafted, but you were also two-time All-American. You're in the Frozen Four. Like, how was it playing just those, like, being the top of the top? Hockey East is crazy as is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, back to my junior days, I was never like you said, coming out of Raleigh, we all think like we're pretty good, right? And then you move on, and it's like wow, like there's guys in Europe, there's people all over the country that are so good at hockey. You just kind of try to find your way in that group. But no, like when I first got to school, I was like, there's a lot of guys that were coming in my freshman class, like drafted 4th round, 2nd round pick, Casper Bjorkquist, great player. A lot of good hockey players coming in. I kind of was like, I always thought it was good, but I was like, where am I going to find myself in the lineup? You know, like it's like, this is Division I, like this is a real deal. They just came off a national championship. So I'm like, all right, I got to figure it out. But I started on the 4th line my first like 2 weekends at school. I think my first game I had 3 assists. But Nate just put me in a couple of spots. Like put me on the power play. Like first thing, he saw the skill in me. So a big shout out to him. But you know, he just gave me some opportunities, man, and I just ran with it. But when I got there, like I said, it was 4th line. Worked my way in the 1st line spot. A couple weeks in, and then just kind of never looked back from there. I played with some really good players. Eric Foley, Brian Peno plays for the Capitals now with Lavi. And then I played with Jack Dugan. Just signed with the Knights. Great player, probably playing the team this year. Just surrounded by a lot of good hockey players, man. Just found my way in there.
Love to hear it. So going into something that I feel like wouldn't have gotten covered otherwise, just me being a good friend of yours, something you've grown up with. I remember actually at a roller tournament, like you needed me to fill out a form for you, but something your mom advocates for. Jill, unbelievable woman, one of my favorite hockey moms out there. Got to see her actually and your dad when you're playing in the Coast because of the AHL stuff. We'll get into that later, especially the big news that came out today, which is huge for you. But so dyslexia, something that most people don't understand. They think you're like Percy Jackson, where the stuff just dumps around the page.
Like
but
something.
So how is like what some of the challenges with that? Obviously, the time commitment with school, given you have a lot less time to obviously do homework, study that most normal students would have. Some of the challenges that come along with that and dealing with that, obviously growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, like my mom's great. Like if I didn't have my mom, honestly, like I would never be here. Like I would have never got into college. Nothing would ever really worked out for me. But she's to this day like huge advocate for dyslexia. Like yeah, like a lot of people like you'll go in and like, oh like I get pretty high levels of dyslexia, and they're like, does that mean like you can't see or like you read like diagonal? I'm like, no, man. Like it's a learning disability. Like you just struggle with reading and writing and stuff, but it's not. It just takes extra time. Like I think the biggest thing people don't understand is it takes someone with dyslexia probably like 8 times as long as it takes a normal person to like understand something, especially within like the educational system. But no, my mom's huge on it. Brent Sopel, NHL alum, Stanley Cup champion. He's huge on it now. I think it has a fund too that you can follow. But yeah, I mean, it's becoming a lot more common for teachers to understand it, and they have 504 plans and all that. But no, that dyslexia is huge, man. Like being a big part of that's going to be something. If I make it to the NHL and I'm on a team, I'm going to try to do something with it too.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, it's a more of like a processing thing. It's like a cognitive type of, I guess. I wouldn't say it's a disability because most people that are like, you hear this like Michael Phelps is a huge advocate for ADHD because it's like most people that have a cognitive, I'm just going to stick with the word, just learning difference.
Yeah.
Makes them realize that it's like, okay, they usually have their out. It's something where sports can come quicker or something that they can understand a lot better rather than say something that's more like literature based, which a lot of people deal with, but most people, especially in the past, weren't really too informed about.
Yeah.
So it's also cool seeing that side where it obviously was an advantage for you in sports because you're like, hey, like this is my way out.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, I think that's for like a lot. Like, there's a lot of people that not even in sports, just like in business, that are just. I think you kind of see a different side of things. I think maybe people with dyslexia, you kind of see a different route through things. You have to find a way to get things done in a different way than maybe a normal person would. So in a way, it's kind of a blessing. I'll end it on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So now to dive into more of the hockey side, Providence. I believe your freshman year, you said you started 4th line, threw a few points up. Was that a Frozen 4 year for you guys, or was it your sophomore year?
My junior year was Frozen 4. I played in the NCAA regionals twice. my first year lost in the first round, second year lost in the second round, and then my third year made it to the Frozen Four. So kind of improved every year, which is kind of neat. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and I remember seeing you on TV. As I was a sophomore in college. I think we were the same year in university. So
Yeah.
seeing you on TV, was that the Minnesota? Was that the when you guys played? Was it the Bulls? You had that game.
Yeah, I think we played Mankato when it was like the whole power play spiel
Yeah.
went
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was awesome.
yeah. Wild game.
Was it 2-1, 2-2? Beat them 4-1, 4-0.
I think 2-1 maybe.
Not a big deal.
Yeah,
Is
I
that,
can't really
is that,
remember.
is that, is that
Kind of a
good?
blur these days.
Yeah. Oh, you're telling me. But, so ended up forgoing your senior year at Providence, got picked up by the Predators organization. And so that's where you are now, obviously. What's it like? Obviously, we talked about your first year at camp where you got your nickname. You got to meet some of the guys. What's it like being in like literally Showtime, hanging out with those big names that you kind of grew up watching?
It's dude, honestly, last year, I mean, this year is a little bit different. Like I'm more comfortable now, I would say. But last year, man, like you come into it and it's like, obviously, like these are people you watch or growing up, like Matt Duchene and like Ryan Johansson and all those guys, Philip Forsberg. Like you're watching these guys all the time on TV, just like doing disgusting things to people. And you get out there and it's like I got to compete. Like I got to find a way to like get on this team and like fight for a job. And you kind of rewire your brain from like, whoa, these guys are really cool. It's like I got to like try and like not get dangled by Philip Forsberg.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. Like a lot of them are cool dudes. Like it's like anything. Like you meet them and like most of them are pretty normal guys. Like say what's up and like are really nice. So it's been pretty cool, man, to be a part of it. But still trying to find my way in it.
Yeah. Well, what most people don't realize, it's still a job. Like this is your career, where everyone will be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like you play pro sports, that's awesome." But it is awesome. But
Yeah.
there's also some struggles that go along with it. Like day to day, it's like like you said, you're competing for a job. So what would you say, like some of the things that people don't actually realize? Because I get to see you on more of a candid scene, obviously compared to other people, especially like I went and played pickup the other day, and I just mentioned that like we were friends, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, like Josh Wilkins, like must be so nice, like making all that money, doing all that." But obviously, like you're still trying to find your niche, finding out where you fit on teams. So the question is, what's the I guess biggest challenge of being a professional athlete? With obviously you have like there's money that comes along with it, but again, if you don't make a team or you don't get the job, there's still that kind of stress and I guess kind of drawback on that nature. So what's one of the things that you think people don't realize like that comes along with being a professional athlete?
Yeah, I mean, like I was kind of telling my mom this the other day. Like a lot of people don't like realize like a lot of kids grow up, they want to be like Crosby, they want to be like McKinnon, they want to be like the top guy. And trust me, you do. But a lot of people don't understand. Like for me, like this year, I didn't know what was going to happen with hockey with the COVID stuff. Like you said, I won't get into it too much, but started the year in Florida and then had to drive to Nashville for camp. And now I might be going to Chicago because our AHL affiliate's not playing. So it's just kind of like when you're not quite in the league yet, like fighting your way to get in is kind of like a tough route. Just because I don't think people understand the amount of travel and driving and figuring out where you're at, living in a hotel, coming out of boxes, taking stuff out of your car. Like, it's just like a long process, especially when you're not established yet. Yeah, I mean, making money playing hockey is cool, but you got to be smart about it. It's not nearly as much as most of those guys are making the show. So, no, it's good, man. But you gotta remember, like, you're not quite there yet. So you got to keep like every day, man. You got to rewire your brain, wake up, and just battle, man. Just a constant battle, and it's physical as much as it is mental, So you gotta remember that every day.
Yeah, and like remember you had a pretty bad injury when you're up in Providence with your hip and going through all that stuff. Like when you first realized, like when you got signed, I think that was again going into the summer of 2018.
Yeah, last year's summer, I signed at the end of the 2018-2019 season.
Yeah. And then you obviously came back, got to see the boys, which is honestly like one of the blessings for COVID. You were able to I feel like that's the most stationary you've been in your entire life was when COVID happened.
Yeah, it stinks. Like, it's a terrible thing going on, but like for me personally, it was nice to see all my friends and spend a lot of time with my family, which I only see them usually like for a couple months out of every year. So it was nice to spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, I got to hit the course a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Got to search in the woods for some balls with me a little.
yeah. I don't even see why we buy golf balls anymore. We should should just go to the woods. We should just go to the woods already. We're gonna be there anyway.
Yeah, go ahead and just find our balls there. But
Yeah.
so being a professional athlete during COVID, what are some things that you guys have to deal with? Like, take me through, like, you're in training camp now. They have to take a lot more precautions than normal. Like, take me through your day-to-day nowadays.
Yeah, so every day, get up around 7:30 and then grab some breakfast at the rink. But we have to get COVID testing. Like, first thing we do when we get there is pull in the parking lot, go in for testing, and then we have like a temperature check, and then we go in for practice stuff, do all that. But I'm usually there like I'd say from like 9-ish to probably like 3:30 in the afternoon. Like, we have a workout obviously, and then you have like a stretch routine, and then you got all that other stuff that comes with being an athlete. But you have practice for an hour, then you have recovery, and then you have lunch at the rink. So you spend a lot. It's almost like it's kind of like half of a full work day. I'd say probably there from like 9 to 3:30.
Yeah.
But still, like, with the physical amounts to it and the mental side, like, it's similar to working at 9 to 5. I'd say, like, right during training camp.
Yeah. What's like the biggest difference between, I guess, college? Because I know there's Hockey East is like the SEC of hockey for obviously those that don't follow it. But what are some things that you have now that you didn't have in school that kind of help you prepare and progress?
I'd say, college, they treat you pretty well there. I'd say the facilities are a little bit different. Pros more like, on your own. Like, a lot of colleges, like team stuff and team stretch. Pros, like, kind of, you do what you need to do, and we're here to help you. So, like, they have training people on staff. Like, if I say, like, hey, like, my shoulder's bothering me today, like, we'll have a trainer come meet with me and take me through like a stretch circuit for my shoulder. It's very like specific stuff. It's all like personal based. Like I said, college is more team oriented. Like, everyone kind of does the same thing. And pro, it's all like kind of on your own. Like, what do you need? Where do you need to work on things? Like, it's personal based, which is kind of nice, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously this is College Uncles, as you embody the name pretty well. You'd be on the Mount Rushmore, if anything. But
College Uncles, man, what a name.
Any I think the one practice story you told me at Prov, where not that you were messing around, but you guys would not be too banged up, but I think it was you and one other guy not went at it during practice, but you guys were flipping pucks into the stands or something one practice. Was that?
That was I think that was somebody that was doing like a scratch skate, was flipping pucks in the stands. But no, we had a couple of times where Nate knew, like, we went out the night before and had like a 7 a.m. practice. But the best was after that. Like, we were all still, like, when you go out like kind of drinking a little bit late and you come in the morning. Like, most people are like 7 a.m. practice, like they're dead, like don't want to be there, like whatever. And like, we were coming off, like, we had a great like time that night, and we all came in like kind of fired up. Like, we're playing like music really loud at like 6:30 in the morning, and Nate comes in. He's like, "What the hell is going on in here?" And we go out for practice, first shift, man. He chips the puck in, one-on-one battle drill, and Shane Kavanaugh absolutely blows up John Barry, just blows him up into the wall. And like, Nate is like, "What is happening?" Like, just not something that happens at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So that that was just to set the tone, man. We had so much fun though. As you know, college is a blast, college sports. So.
Yeah, and obviously, so you guys flew for most of your games, right? Other than like the Boston games and.
Yeah. I mean, our travel schedule was pretty nice, but yeah, if it was further than like 5-hour bus ride, like, we were flying. So. Yeah,
and kind of to follow up those stories, you've gotten some nicknames over the years. So Stick was your identity in Prov.
Yeah.
And then you were
Sticks. I was like 155 pounds when I got into school. So 188 now. My bad. Heavyweight.
Shout out Colin Muldoon's basement.
Facts.
And then so going back to your first Preds camp, you got to meet Cody McLeod. And
yeah.
you got and that's a tough freaking dude. Like
Yeah.
one of the heavyweights of the league.
Oh man, that guy's nuts, man.
And no pun intended, he kind of took you under his wing, but gave you another nickname. We can go into how you earned that one.
Yeah, well, he kind of gave it to a couple of us, but he he just called us Birdie. He was like, "What's up, Birdie?" I guess similar to like in hockey terms, like you're a pigeon, like like you kind of mean nothing. Like those guys all like it was him and like Ronaldo. Those guys have all but like fought their way into the league and like are good players and find a way, man, to keep playing every year. Which you gotta give them credit, man. It's a tough role to fill. And you got to give him some respect too. Like you get in there and it's like, oh, like this kind of crazy. Like I've watched that guy play on Colorado Avalanche because my brother was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, like you're one-on-one battle in the corner with him, and it's like, holy smokes, man, this guy's nuts.
Is there anybody that you are playing with in camp now that's one of the you think is going to be an absolute stud, but it's kind of under I guess no press about him yet?
There's a couple guys like there's a guy that I'm really close with right now, Tommy Novak. Like he came in out of Minnesota, was the 3rd round pick, lit up the USHL, and then signed an AHL deal. Just had a couple like tough injuries in college, and then signed an AHL deal, and then just absolutely popped off in Milwaukee last year. And they just signed him to a 2-year entry level. This guy's nasty, man. Like he's starting to figure it out. Got his confidence up, and like he's going to be a good player. But him and Jeremy Davies, another guy who's good in Milwaukee last year. There's a lot of good players that are coming up that are surely get their chance the next couple of years. But you don't hear about them now. But like you said, I'm sure you will in the next couple of years.
Yeah. And Tommy was your roommate down in Florida, correct?
He wasn't my roommate, but he was like pretty much my roommate. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do spend a lot of time together. So
I got to see you guys play, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago down in Greenville. Freaking Swamp Rabbits, what a name.
The Swamp Rabbits, man, what a league.
But got to see you play, sitting beside your dad during one of the games, and you're kind of obviously it was more of a conditioning thing, keeping you in shape for the AHL and now camp.
Yeah.
For the game I went to, you were kind of just not going through the motions, but you were just getting your wheels on.
That was one of my that was a tougher game for me, but I should have been there for the next game, man. I went out of control.
Yeah, take me through that game. I'll plug the clip, but
yeah, we have this Ellie Tolvanen. He'll probably be on the Preds this year. Last year in Milwaukee, he had his saying where he's like, "I'm seeing red," which is like I'm just out for blood, pretty much. And I was pretty rattled. I mean, I had a couple tough games in the East Coast League, and I don't know, like it just felt like a little off. So I was like, you know what, like screw it, I'm just gonna go run some people. I smoked a guy from behind. He asked me to fight, and I was like, I'm gonna wait a second. The guy was pretty big. I was like, I'm gonna pick my battles. And then I was coming out of the zone, I think, and I wanted like a quick pass, and I think the guy chipped it into the corner or something. And I was like, dude, like I jumped me, but I kind of expected it. But it was all right fight. I mean, fighting in that league is kind of funny though. Like, people always hear horror stories about the East Coast Hockey League, but pretty neat to actually throw some hands in that league.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got to see the video. I lost my mind when I saw it. You're just
so funny, man.
But
yeah, it's a good time.
Talking about, you got any other stories that stick out? Things you'd want to share? Obviously, because there's some that we can't talk about. We know those, but
yeah. No, man. Like, I don't really have too many stories. Like, we're only a couple of days into camp. But no, like Duchesne right now has a guitar on his stick. Like, I don't think any people notice that yet. It's pretty neat. Like, I've never seen that. It literally looks like a guitar, like a straight up guitar on a stick.
Like
so check that out when you start. Yeah. So it looks like he's playing guitar on his hockey stick. It's pretty cool.
He basically does, man. He's pretty smooth.
Yeah, pretty much a pretty smooth player, man.
How's so being in Nashville? It's a pretty good. Well, obviously COVID's a little different, but year before, and then obviously you get to go up there a good amount. Oh, actually, I forgot to even mention this. So when you got first pulled up to Nashville, that was around the Winter Classic time. And you got to.
Yeah. It was when they were in playoffs versus Dallas. When I was here.
Oh, okay, not Winter Classic. So when they were playing Dallas, we've talked about it, but you can take us through that that whole your first NHL experience traveling, being around the guys was in the playoffs. How was that atmosphere?
Dude, that was crazy. Like I said, I just came off the Frozen Four, and then I think like a week later I signed, and they had me on a plane. Like I was supposed to be doing classes and stuff, and I just told my professors like, "Hey, I gotta go. Like I don't know when I'm coming back." And they're just like, "All right, whatever." So I went to Nashville for like 2 weeks, and I spent some time flying on the private jet, shrimp cocktails, like that, dude. Those guys, dude, that lifestyle is crazy, man. But anyway, yeah, I spent some time doing that. Practice with some of the guys, and spent some time around like PK Subban and all those guys before they left. And playoffs is like those guys they don't mess around, man. It's like pretty much people already probably know, but in the locker room, like things are kind of quiet. Like everyone knows like they got a job to do, but they enjoy it too, man. They have a lot of fun. Those guys, they're cool people.
Love to hear it. And then,
Yeah.
what are some things? Obviously, there's a mental side. We've talked about the fun, the physical, being a pro. There's some things that you've worked on over the years. Obviously, growing up, I mean, we're not old yet, but we feel like it.
Yeah.
Some things that you always kind of come back to and say your game's off a little bit, or you're kind of not burnt out, but obviously doing the same thing every day. This is obviously hockey's fun, but most people don't realize it's a job. And
Yeah.
what are some things you like to go back to kind of ground yourself?
Like lately, I mean, we have a couple, like there's a sports psychologist here. Her name's Vicky. Like she works with like a lot of the guys. I spent a little bit of time with her. But dude, I think like the main thing is like, it's like for anybody like going through like any type of job, like there's a lot of stress. Obviously a little different playing ice hockey for a living with the physical side, but there's a lot of stress with it. And I think for me, like just coming back to like, hey, like it's just hockey. Like there's so much more to life. Like obviously it's your passion. You like take a lot of time doing it, but at the end of the day, like you got to take time for your friends, your family, just take a step back and be like, in the big scheme of life, like this is like a small step in it. So I think that's a big thing for me, is just like kind of relaxing and being like, hey, look, just calm down a little bit. Like you're not going to die out here, you know?
Yeah. Unless you see red.
Yeah. Unless you see red and start killing people, but never hearing that.
Talking about how it's obviously it's part of your life. It's something you're passionate about. And sometimes it's very easy to get like super hyper focused about what you're doing. What was it like, obviously, this summer, hanging out with the boys, being almost like a normal kid for a little bit?
Dude, it was actually, it was sick, man. I loved it. But like anything, man, like it was just a great time to see you guys. And obviously playing that roller hockey tournament was so much fun. Like that was probably the most fun I've had in like 10 years. Like, that was sick. But no, man, it's just a good time, dude. Anytime we all get together, it's a riot. So it's funny.
Oh, yeah, we got to watch it. We know.
Yeah.
We have to get up for work in the morning. You have to get up and work in the morning. A little different.
Yeah. But hey, man, sometimes it's good to do that type of thing.
Yeah. See, having a little contrast in your life isn't too bad.
No.
Little golf,
as long as it doesn't get too out of hand, and you wake up the next morning to the text from you that said it happened again.
Yeah. Oh, that's sometimes the water gets compromised. This water bottle, it's not see-through for a reason.
This is high-end stuff, but I don't know. You never know, man.
It's in the budget. But yeah, dude, and you still got the mullet going too.
Oh yeah, it's buzzing. I think that's the most talked about thing they've said to me. I mean, obviously you want people to talk about your hockey play, which hasn't really been that yet. It's just been the mullet, so I'll take that. But yeah, I think I'm the only one that's been rocking a mullet right now at camp. So
how are the boys at camp? I remember you were pretty tight with Fabro last camp. How are the boys doing? Because I'm obviously a Preds fan too, which makes it even better. You're playing with them.
Yeah. Everyone's good, man. I had dinner with Fabs when I first got here. He's good. I think he just got a house. Don't quote me on that, but guy makes a good amount of money.
Yeah, he ripped it up with Johansson. Saw him and who were they? It was him, Johansson, and somebody just like playing on a putting green in their backyard.
Yeah, probably Sissons. Yeah, they're all always back there. But no, yeah, those guys are good, man. It's gonna be a new kind of set of faces. I think there's a couple of new guys. Like Kunin just signed. You got Cousins from Vegas, who's a good player, but and it's Hines' first year like really coaching the team. So I think it'll be they're gonna work hard. Like training camp's like tough, man. The guys we're battling, so it's gonna be a good team.
Definitely. Hearing Hines' out looks more of like a work first, and then obviously set the system up and everything falls into line.
Yeah.
What's it like? Obviously having his leadership, it's different. Well, it's obviously your first time playing under him, even though.
He's like you said, he demands work and demands a lot of things like box outs and a lot of that stuff. But no, he's a tough dude, but he knows how to form a team together. Obviously, he's had some experience with it. But no, they're gonna work hard, man. It's gonna be a good team.
Yeah. If you sorry, I'm ripping questions off for you because we've been meaning to do this interview for like 3 months, but
yeah,
you're chilling, man. A little bit better at editing now, so we'll get going. Where do you see yourself kind of fitting in the NHL? You know, like I'm somebody who kind of is big manifest, put the energy out there, you'll find it. So when you're in the NHL, what's like the type of role you see yourself playing, like compared to say somebody that's played in the past or someone that's in the show now?
You know, like I kind of, that's a good question because I kind of thought about that a little bit. Like, because obviously you come out of school and like everyone coming out of like their programs going to sign NHL contracts and going to like NHL camps, like everyone's the best player from wherever they were previously. So I think just kind of trying to understand your role. I think last year was kind of a little bit of an eye opener for me, trying to find my way. But no, I think I'm still trying to figure it out, but I kind of like my role. I have some skill, but I have some work to me too, a little bit of feistiness. So I don't know, man. I don't really know where I'm going to see myself. Obviously, I got to get to that point. I think they're going to kind of tell me where they want me to be. But I think hopefully the next couple of years, man, I can find a way into some role on some team. But I got to focus.
Ideally, what would it be in your eyes? Because I know it's, as much as it's up to you, it's not. But
probably top 9 forward, man, either wing or center, and just trying to play as much role as I can. Like you said, like kind of like college, you get into a chance. They give you a few opportunities. You kind of showcase what you can do, and hopefully you can stick. You know, that's kind of everybody's goal. You never really know unless you're like McDavid or those guys. You never really know where exactly you're going to be.
Yeah.
You just want to be somewhere, you know.
Absolutely. Being in the locker rooms over the past few years, who are some of the glue guys that kind of stick out to you? Like you're almost like your business on a team, the ox guys, the energy guys, getting the boys ready to go.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in Milwaukee, so I mean, I'm not really sure exactly. I know like in preseason last year, like Johansson runs the Ox, like some hilarious songs he'll put on. But in Milwaukee, like it kind of sounds like we have a guy on our team, Brandon Fortunato. He actually raps his own songs, and like they're hilarious. Like we'll put those on after like games and stuff. They're hilarious, man. I'll have to send you a couple of those.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
One of them's called Heartbreak Kid. So if that tells you anything.
All right, and to put more of a, I guess, humorous tone to wrap up. So I stumbled upon an interview you got in Milwaukee that I'll plug on the pod to tease this. They grilled you with some questions. Might go over a few of them again. So I think one of them was you're in the locker room, and how many pennies would you think fit in a locker room?
Dude, I thought my answer was pretty good. I can't remember what I said, but I think it was like 10 million or something.
That's a good answer. And then
or like 5 million. But it was a pretty big locker room, man. But I don't know. My answer was pretty good. A couple of my other answers were tough, but it's all right.
So what's your go-to karaoke song since you live in Nashville, big music city?
Dude, I think you kind of know this one, man. Like the Lady Gaga theme song from what's that movie called? How can I remember the movie?
I know it, but I'm gonna let you struggle a little bit.
You're gonna let me struggle? You're gonna let me sweat? Shoot, dude, that's gonna come to me. Hold on, dyslexia. Shoot. Oh, someone's calling me. What's going on here? Still see me?
Yep, you're good.
No, it's I'm off the deep end. Watch as I dive in. That one.
Yeah, because
somebody help me out.
It's The Shallow. Or Shallows.
Yeah, that's it. That's my go-to. Me and Novak ripped that one at Christmas party in Milwaukee last year, and all the boys and the staff loved it. So keep that one up.
Were you Bradley Cooper, or were you hitting the high notes being Gaga?
I was Bradley Cooper. I can't. Novak's the one that hits the high notes, but may or may not have a few drinks for me at that point. But
There's just water.
yeah,
It's not up to you. It's not up to you what's in it. It never is.
Yeah, exactly. You just go with the flow, man.
Any funny rookie party stories? Anything fun from there that you can speak on?
I can't really specify some of those stories, but
Fair enough.
Just know that they're out of control. That's all I need to know.
Love to hear it. Trying to think. I definitely feel like I'm missing something. Hold on. Anything else you got? Because we got the Chew story, being around the country everywhere, Prov, can't really speak on the Airbender story too much.
We probably could. I mean, we probably could go on the Airbender. I don't know. How could you edit it back in, put it back into the interview? I don't know how it's gonna. You're good at editing, so you probably figure it out. But,
yeah, I'll clean it up.
I don't know, man. There's probably some funny. I bet there's some funny things that I'm missing out on. But like you said, I don't really know how much I could say.
Yeah, last thing I want is the kid with the mullet to be the degenerate that gets cut for the team from his dumbass friend.
Yeah,
from the podcast.
No, I think we've done a pretty good job, man, with it. So It's been pretty serious.
Any, I guess, advice you have for buddies, people that are still looking up, trying to figure their way, whether it be because what you're doing is a job, some things that you've learned over the past few years being a professional, things that you could kind of speak on.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I was trying to tell anybody that's trying to do something cool in their life, just enjoy it, man. Like that's the hardest thing I've had to figure out is obviously it's a job now, but in college I loved it every day, and sometimes last year I was well, why am I coming to the rink not happy? You kind of got to find your way and figure out take a step back and realize, hey, look, what I'm doing is what I love to do, and that's the biggest thing. It's not all about money sometimes in life. That's what I'm trying to figure out too. Is you just want to make sure you're enjoying each day because it's your life. Your life's short. You want to have your best friends. You want to have your family.
Yeah.
You want to do what you love to do. So I think that's the biggest thing is to make sure you're happy.
Absolutely.
It's not worth it not to be.
And I guess personally, I credit kind of going on what you're talking about is keeping yourself present. What are some things that you try and do to almost be in the moment rather than looking forward to the next day? Because obviously there's a lot of uncertainty, especially in the world nowadays. And obviously things are changing. Literally today, I just saw the news that you guys are going to be. They went from not playing at all. Only I guess option you had was making the taxi squad, kind of being on call for the Preds. But now you have the opportunity to showcase yourself for 3 teams. Because I guess does Vegas still have Chicago, or did they get rid of that too?
They now it's the Hurricanes, man. So the Hurricanes prospects, I think they're sending. I don't know the exact numbers. Our GM of Milwaukee came in and talked to us yesterday after practice, but I think they're going to kind of do a half and half deal, and it's going to be a shortened season too. So I think it's more of a development league, I guess, is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Not as much as an intense season, but obviously you want to go down there and make your mark. But it'll be a mix of us and Carolina, which is neat because obviously we're from Carolina, so it'd be kind of neat for them to watch me. But no, man, it'll be good. It'll be a good opportunity.
Yeah, I guess to make things come full circle, to wrap it up, you got to play in PNC on the preseason last year.
Yeah, last year.
Had a few. All 5 Wilkins jerseys were sold out of the store. I think they're in the stands.
Yeah, come on, merch.
Yeah. Oh, hey. I know you guys are selling helmet ads, so I know College Uncles has a pretty big budget. If you guys need any sponsors.
Yeah.
If you guys are
I just saw that yesterday. It's pretty neat. They just got all the stuff, and it's pretty cool that NHL is doing that. It's going to be Europe, though, a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll get the gold helmets out for the top 4.
Oh, that'd be jokes. Well, hey, man, as always, good to catch up with you. Obviously, now you're out doing your thing. I'm in my headquarters that might have a bed in it.
Yeah, it's a nasty pull down back there, though.
You've seen the room before. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But, hey, keep on keeping on. It's always good to hear from you. Thanks for your time. I know it's of the essence nowadays. Yeah,
it's good to talk to you, dude. Like I said, keep buzzing and keep doing your thing.
Yeah, man.
Sick College Uncles. Freaking wee.
Yeah, baby.
Baby.
All right, kid. I appreciate it. Here we go.
All right, dude. No, good talking to you, man. Like I said, I'll see you in a few weeks.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, 'cause you're ripping home in a little bit.
Yeah.